Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another track guide for the V8 veterans from Interlagos. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel and for another track guide, as I said, from Interlagos. So what do we got here this week? Let me have a little go on my little thingy. 47 laps this week, 200 kilometers from Interlagos. Little bit shorter than last week, so interesting. But I haven't had a lot of time to practice on this track this week. I had a little bit of practice last night for about 2 hours, but ended up getting my time down to, what do we got there? 1:32.56. Probably can push about another tenth or 2/10 out of that one. But I think this was a reasonably tidy lap, so I just thought I'd show you this one as well. Doesn't really matter about the speed. So we'll just get into it here, guys. I, as you'll see at the beginning of this video, I've swapped it up a little bit. I'm just going to swap it for the lap in real time every week. I'll put it at the beginning of the video, and then this afterwards, a couple of guys have asked for it. I don't think they're noticing that it's at the end of the video. So just something to mix up there. But anyway, we'll get into it. So coming down to the first corner here, guys, can be a very tricky one. This one's for Neil Waters this week. He sent me a message. He goes, "Bloody, put your guide up so I can figure out corner 1 and 2." Look, Neil, just wing it, mate. No. So this is my approach anyway. At the 100 here, very hard under brakes, as you'll see here in the telemetry. I go very hard under brakes. Always in a straight line as usual. I only say in a straight line every single week because if there's anyone else new to the channel watching, it's just something that they haven't heard before. So I always say in a straight line, braking in a straight line all the way back down to second gear for this corner. And definitely get all your braking done in the straight line before you come off into the corner. So I'm braking all the way off, trailing off, but getting that trailing done pretty quickly, and then just keeping your momentum into that first left-hander, and then trying to keep over to the left or mid-track as much as you can, just to set up that next one and take a big chunk out of that next right-hander, just to get a good run into the next left, as you'll see here, guys. So all the way back down to second. Really hard on the brakes there, trailing off quite quickly, completely off the brakes as I hit the corner, and then sort of staying more mid-track. How'd I go there? Let me have a look. Yeah, so I'm keeping it around, more to the left as I come out, but then sort of aiming for the next part of the corner. You probably can keep it a bit more left, not aim so much for the corner as what I have, but I've found that it tends to want to understeer a little bit into this next right-hander. I can't quite get it around yet. Maybe I have to just keep it in second and just get off a little bit earlier, then short shift third or something like that. I haven't got my headset, so I can't see what it is. So what gear are we in there? I can see on my little thing here. So second, I was short shifting third. We'll see what I do here. So go there, and then yeah, short shift third into the right hander. Maybe you could. That's worked for me, but it's not. It is consistent, but I think it's just more practice. It will be consistent. But I did notice if you stay in second there, get your foot off just marginally, it brings it into that corner a bit more. But then short shift as you got your foot off, and then boot it out of the corner. But at the moment, I'm short shifting into third, and then just booting it out of there as hard as I can. This next left-hander can be a tricky one. Everyone wants to just go as hard as they can around it. I do, but as you'll see in the telemetry here, I come into the corner, keep my left wheels on the curb, um, halfway around the corner, and then boot it. I'm not completely on the accelerator, or I'm sort of feathering off and on, just to keep the car stable. And then once you hit half, you can start powering on the accelerator and get that arse end to come around and steer it out of the corner, as you'll see here, guys. So wheels up on the curb there, just feathering the accelerator and then booting it halfway around, if not 3/4 of the way around, and just watching the curb on the right there. You can get a little bit of a penalty if you drop your left hand wheels over the curb. So coming into this one, this is the biggest pain in the ass on the track, I reckon. For me personally, I've been told third, I've been told second. What's his name? Oh, that quick guy that races. Anyway, goes back to second. Scotty Gamble, I think, goes back to second. I'm staying in third at the moment. I just wash off too much speed. The back RSN wants to lock up if I go into second. So at the moment, I'm just staying third. I am about a car length before the 100, I think it is. Let's have a look here. Yeah, the 100 right there, as you can see, 2 car lengths possibly before the 100. And once again, very hard on the brakes in a straight line to where that car is. And then it's more of a early to mid apex coming into it, but just watch. You don't want to come in too early, because then powering out, you won't get the drive out of the corner that you want, because if you drive out too hard, you'll just shift over this curb on the right, which is very easy to get a penalty on, I've noticed, coming out of this corner. But just coming into it here, guys, all the way back down to third gear, sorry. See, coming in more early, but sort of into the middle of the corner. It's sort of, yeah, it's a little bit funny. But and then just trying to power out of that, hugging the left as much as you can, and then maybe just wash off a little bit more speed than what you have to, and then accelerating out once you're completely around the corner. You don't want to start accelerating back here and then wash right out over the right-hand curb there, get yourself a penalty. So make sure you're all the way around the corner before you start accelerating out of that one in third gear. Pretty much once I come out, I'm third and then fourth gear, third. And then, oh yeah, just coming down to the corner here, fourth gear. That one's pretty much straightforward. This one I've sort of figured out, but it can be a little bit tricky if you haven't done it before. So this little shed here on the left, that's a marker. That's basically my only marker that I've got here, I've noticed. So I sort of just by doing it a heap of times, I go, oh, that's the same distance. I'd say it's probably 3 car lengths back from that shed, maybe. Once again in a straight line and slowly going back down through the gears here. So I am up into, what am I up into there? Fifth gear. Yeah, so fifth gear coming up to this corner. I go back fourth, third, just before I'm about to turn in, and hugging this next right-hander. So far, I'm hugging this right-hander reasonably tight, probably a car and a half length out from the curb, as you'll see here, guys. So back down to fourth, back to third, and just sort of, yeah, feathering the brakes just to get myself around, get the arse end around. And you want to hug it nice and tight coming in here on this curb on the right, coming out of the corner. And then once you've basically got your line set and you're on that curb, just powering out as hard as you can. Do watch the arse end, but it's not really an overly slippery corner coming out of that one. I think I hold third coming all the way out of here. Yep. And then this one these whole bunch of tight corners through here, I've sort of been fluffing around with third, second and then first. This one, I think I go back to first. Let me have a geezer. Sorry, I just really wanted to get this up really quickly, guys, so that you'd had something to look at. Yeah, so I go back to first in this run. I think I'm probably going to do that in the race as well. I've just noticed you can't get really hard on the brakes in second gear coming into this corner. You probably can if you hold it right out here, but I've noticed if I hold it out there and then turn in, I'm still getting a little bit of understeer, and it's washing off like 1/10 of a second, maybe 1/2 of a second, coming into each one of these tight bends. So this is what I'm doing so far. So I'm going back to second and then a late back to first coming in this one. Just tends to get the arse end around, but then short shifting back to second coming out of it. You probably can power out of it on your quali lap in first, probably later on in the race, you don't want to do that because it will light the arse end up and you won't get as much traction coming out of the corner. So coming into the corner here, guys, back to founder first. Nice and tight on that corner. Short shifting second. Now, am I in second yet? Oh, not quite. So I have run out of that one in first. As I said, you can run out in first when you got the traction. Probably not worth doing in the race, though. So coming out, going up into second, and then up into third, coming around through this one. Second, sorry. Let me go back and explain that again. So as I said, coming out of that one in first, up into second. This one I did actually want to talk to you guys about. As you can see here, I don't know if you can see it in the screens, but that drops off quite a fair bit into that left-hand corner. I've noticed just try to keep a car length out of here and get off before you hit that. Don't brake too late into this corner, as you'll be coming around the corner and it'll do those ones and push out from the corner and then want to come back. You have to come back in. So if you brake or get off the accelerator just that little bit earlier, holding second, and then just try to keep nice and tight on the curb, getting halfway around and then powering out of the corner in second. That tends to work a little bit better for me. So that's how I've done it there, nice and tight on the curb, and then just getting on the gas nice and early and getting a good run out of that one. So this is another one, just fluffing around with second and first, but I think on this one I've done first gear. So I've noticed I want to come out really wide, and it sort of works, but then, yeah, I lose the front end too much for how much I brake. I brake a little bit late and get pretty hard on the brakes. So, yeah, I just want to, I sort of stay about 3/4 to mid-track here, back down to second, and then back down to first. And then I'm going to short shift, as I said, in the race. I don't think I've done it in this one. We'll have a look. So back down to second, back down to first, nice and tight on that curb. And then, yeah, I powered out of it again. I think this is on this lap. I started fluffing around with, yeah, just first gear and then accelerating out in first gear. If you can hold the traction, it comes out quite quick. I noticed on my Delta, I was getting in the green quite a fair bit coming out of there in first. It's just not going to work in the race. Once you start losing traction on the tyres, it's just going to, yeah, you're not going to get the kick out of there in first that you want. So it's better just to short shift second and then just get a good drive out of there without spinning the tyres too much. Coming down to this next one, I'm all the way up into third. I do try to get over to the right-hand side of the track here as much as I can, probably about where he is there, mid-track, and then coming into a mid-apex, and then, yeah, holding to, once I come across into the mid-apex, holding the curb as much as I can and accelerating out without losing the arse end. So I'm all the way up into third here, guys, holding third, coming back across, just feathering that accelerator there just to get myself back across there, and then accelerating out as hard as I can. This next left-hander can be a little bit of a tricky one too. I think it comes down like that, comes up, and then it's got like just a little bump sort of there as you come into the corner, which wants to shoot you wide into the corner there if you sort of brake too late. I have been braking here at the end of the curb. You can brake probably a car length later. But yeah, at the moment, just sort of round about the curb just after I'm cranking on the brakes there. So coming down here in third, so I go, fourth, go back to third, back to second into this corner, as you'll see here. So nice and wide. You can sit out on the green there. That is actually part of the track. I sort of tend to keep it there with the tyre just sort of nicking the track there. I haven't tested that yet, how far you can go out without getting a penalty, but that's where I sort of tend to keep it. Plenty of grip out there, so don't be scared to go out there and get more of the track to get a better run into the corner and a better exit. So as I said, back to second gear here, guys, and then quite an early turn in, as you can see there. That's quite an early apex. It's worked for me here. I have actually tried to take a more of a mid to late apex, but I just can't get the traction, can't get the nose in enough to get me into the corner, touch the curb, and then accelerate out without losing time. So that's the one I've done on this run. It sort of worked for me on this one. I probably have to fluff around with it a little bit more tonight and before the race, but that's what I'm doing at the moment. Back to second here, guys, nice and tight on the curb, and then just accelerating out there. Quite a good exit out of that corner, not too hard, not too easy, sorry, to light up the tyres. So make sure you get on the gas nice and early on that one. Just be ginger on it, but give it a good bootful as well. So coming up to this next one, try not to stay too tight to the left here. Sort of stay mid to out to the wide at about 3/4 track. Coming up all the way up through here, start drifting out just a little bit wider. And then as you'll see, you'll get a later apex, which is a better run out of the corner onto the main straight. So you're coming across, getting a later apex there, and then just accelerating out. Don't drift out here and touch the grass like I have done a million times and stuff your lap. But that's another track guide, guys. I hope it's helped. Let us thumbs up if it has. Think about subscribing. I don't think there's anything else I had to tell you this week. I always forget something once I start editing, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And can't wait to see you in the race, guys. Cheers.